afternoon and welcome to everyone. My name is Jeannie Mancini and I'm the president of the March for Life Education and Defense Fund. We're so appreciative of your support for the March for Life and we'd love to know where you're watching from today, so please keep us posted. I'm delighted this afternoon to introduce you to a very special young woman, Maddi Runkles. Maybe some of you have heard of Maddi. She has been in the news quite a bit, and probably much to her chagrin, she's just been the attention of many people in these last few months for, in a lot of reasons, for a very beautiful way. And so during Maddi's senior year of high school this past year, she found herself facing an unexpected pregnancy, and frankly, in the midst of very challenging circumstances, she chose life. And we're so grateful that she did, and she's expecting a baby boy in early September. And so we want to celebrate and honor your brave decision and to say thank you. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and we're really grateful because I know that this is a very intimate topic. It's very vulnerable, and I can't tell you how grateful I am that you're willing to talk about this today, and we do it in the spirit of one other person out there choosing life, right?
Yes.
Maybe understanding a little bit of God's mercy.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Well, great. Well, we're so happy to have you here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's really just a delight and an honor for us. So we understand you're expecting a little boy,
yes.
And I love his name. You got to tell me a little bit about that. So can you tell everybody who's watching about his name and why you chose it?
His name is Grayson, and I chose that name just with the whole idea of God's grace. And even though Grayson doesn't mean grace, it just has the word in it. And if the baby was a girl, her middle name would have been Grace. So I wanted to keep the word Grace with the boy's name too.
I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We've had the chance to talk over the phone a couple of times and then just a little bit today, but you've shared with me that you've gotten a lot of support, both from your family and other members of your community. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely tons of support from my family and random people all over the country, even
Wow.
internationally. I've gotten a lot of support too. I've received lots of messages and emails on my social media accounts. So that's been really nice, and it really makes me feel like I am doing the right thing, trying to help just one more person or the next guy or girl who goes through this, or even just saving one more baby's life. It just makes me feel like this is all worth it and that it's not in vain.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I know we sometimes work with a wonderful group of Students for Life, and that they were helpful in bringing some attention and support in this. And so we want to thank Students for Life. They connected us with you today, so I'd like to give just a little shout out for their good work. Well, good. And do you think that support has made a difference along the way?
Oh yeah,
Maddi? Not just Students for Life. I mean your family, and then different adult mentors or people that you've never heard of. That's so neat that people that you've never met across the country and across the world have been expressing their support for you.
Definitely made a big difference. Without all that support, I don't think I would have been able to get through the past couple months. And I just think I would have, I don't know, I think I really would have turned my back on God because I would have just been so mad at Him and not have seen the bigger picture in all of this. So yeah, the support has definitely helped me get through the difficult circumstances of this.
That's really beautiful. I know we had the opportunity to speak a little bit about just our understanding of God and especially His mercy, in a moment like this. And can you talk with me a little bit about that? Because I can tell how mature you are, Maddi, and what a beautiful understanding you have of God's love for you and His mercy. And, not everyone has that gift. And could you just speak to that a little bit?
I think God's mercy, He gives us what we don't deserve and gives us God's grace and mercy. He gives it to us through every situation, mistake that we make. And I think as Christians, sometimes we forget that God gives us that, so we should give that to other people. I think it's just so hard to look past sins when you can see what someone has done. I think we just forget that God is such a loving God, and He gives everyone mercy and grace and gives us things we don't deserve. And it's hard for us to do the same because, we're not capable of loving everyone the way that God loves them. So it's definitely hard, I think, sometimes just to look past people's sin and act like Christ and treat others the way we should. Yeah, absolutely. That's really beautifully said. Thank you very much. Really good points. Kind of along those same lines, here at the March for Life, we're committed very much to making abortion unthinkable in our culture, and we know that every life is a gift. Every life is a gift. And we just treasure little Grayson's life growing within you.
And we also know sometimes that shame can play into a woman's decision to not choose life.
Yes.
To not choose life. And so can you talk to me a little bit about that, Maddie?
I think the shame that girls in my situation receive, it makes them feel like it's not worth it. And it just makes you feel like you're always going to deserve God's second best and everyone's second best for the rest of your life because you made a mistake and people can see what you've done. So I think the shame definitely just makes you feel like it's not worth it and that you should just go have an abortion just to get rid of the problem because it seems like your only option. And just the whole stigma that is placed on an unplanned pregnancy and a pregnancy outside of marriage, it just makes everything seem like it makes it seem like all your plans you had for your life are ruined and everything's taken away from you because of the way that society treats situations like this.
Do you feel that way? Do you feel like the plans for your life are ruined?
No, definitely not. At first
Talk
I
to us
did
about that.
because, I had this completely different plan for my life and God had something else in mind, so it's been hard to understand what hit, like the bigger picture through all of this, but I've definitely seen what it is now. But I just think the whole shaming part that Christians tend to give out to those who sin and make mistakes, it just really makes God seem like this big judge who's just waiting to rain down on us, and that's not how it is.
Yeah.
And I think it really just turns people off towards Christianity and Christ.
Yeah. I think sometimes also what can happen is none of us are perfect human beings. And but we all appreciate that a spotlight is not drawn on our imperfections, and so it's really hard when there's some attention on something that has been less than perfect, and it's great when we can offer each other just grace, that none of us are perfect, in any way. And that's kind of the fun of it too, right? God works with that and works with our human freedom. And so anyways, I do remember a story of a young woman who chose to be a birth mom, but almost didn't. And in fact, it was your story that allowed for this conversation to have with a woman who was a birth mom. And she said that because of shame, she almost didn't choose life. She'd gone to an abortion clinic and was on the tennis team in her college and didn't want people to know, didn't, really felt that she would have been judged. This was many years ago. This was about 25 years ago. But after going to the abortion clinic and wasn't fully settled in her heart about things, she went outside afterwards, and her friend said to her, "You've got this. You can do it." And she said that made all the difference. That, the littlest word of encouragement made a difference to choose life, but someone kind of making you feel bad or judging you in that moment went the other way too.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important that we do whatever we can to create a culture where abortion is unthinkable and that life is received with hospitality and with love. So, we live in a culture where there are 1 million abortions every single year in the United States, and there are only about 20,000 infant adoptions. And not that adoption is for everyone either. That's not necessarily the path, but to consider the discrepancy between the number of abortions versus adoptions, it's like, can we please have more babies that so many people want to adopt, and can we encourage women to choose life in a moment like that? So Maddie, how has this experience reframed your understanding about your future and what you're thinking about in terms of your hopeful future?
It's definitely taught me to not be so selfish. At the beginning of all this, I wanted to go have an abortion because I didn't want to lose my reputation that I had, and that was very selfish of me. To think that taking another life was okay because it could save me and save my reputation. But this whole thing has definitely taught me not to be selfish and to put others first. I'm going to be a mom, I'm going to have someone else to take care of, and to put other people in my situation to, reach out and help them and encourage them through this time.
That's amazing. That is really amazing. So often a less strong person would be motivated by their reputation being, really slandered or treated in a bad way, and you'd want to preserve that, but you made a really noble and good decision, and we're just so grateful for that. What word of encouragement would you give to any young woman listening or watching today who's facing an unexpected pregnancy?
It's super cliche, but you can do it, and it is worth it. Making the right choice is not always the easiest, but in the long run, it's the best thing you can do, and you'll always know that you made the right choice in the end. But it's super cliche to say, but honestly, it is worth it. Everything you're going to go through, at the end of the day, you're going to have a sweet little baby sort of be a reward for everything that's happened, and it is worth it in the end.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Maddie. Really encouraging. So you've talked about the challenges and pains that you've experienced, some of it here and some of it we've talked a little bit, in other ways. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you're most excited about in terms of becoming a mom?
All the firsts with everything that's going to happen, seeing him walk and hearing him talk. And it's kind of been difficult to sit back and realize or think about everything I'm excited about just because of everything that's gone on.
Yeah.
But right now I'm having a really good time putting together his nursery and buying him clothes and the decorations for his room. But when he gets here, I really am just excited about all the firsts I'll get to experience with him, and just
Wonderful.
I'm in a different stage in life now than a lot of my other friends, but I think it's just going to be really rewarding.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Well, we're excited for you and for your baby very much, and we've been incredibly, incredibly blessed to have you join us today. I'm confident that everyone watching will be inspired and encouraged, and I just want to reiterate Maddie's message of hope, that if anyone that you know out there is expecting an unexpected pregnancy, that you can choose life. You've got this. And if you need any extra support in that, give us a call here at the March for Life and we can talk to you. We can connect you with the right people to talk to you. But there are organizations and ministries where you can find support. You can also check out optionline.org. Life is an empowering choice. Choosing life is empowering. And we hope that you've seen today how Maddie so beautifully embodies that. Maddie's a very strong young woman, really inspiring to me, very, very inspiring. And so thank you again, Maddie, for joining us, and just know that you have our thoughts and our prayers at the March for Life. Okay, take care and God bless everyone.